The pressure is on for Green Bay Packers edge Lucas Van Ness to have a breakout season in 2026. The former first-round pick out of Iowa has been quiet in his first 3 seasons in the league, generating 69 pressures, 53 defensive stops, and just 8.5 sacks in 43 games. While some of that is due to injuries keeping LVN off of the field, the pressure continues to build for him to step up this year. With Micah Parsons likely out until at least week 6, Van Ness will be tasked with leading a young edge group that features a pair of second-year day 3 picks in Barron Sorrell and Colin Oliver, as well as a 4th-round rookie in Denai Dennis Sutton. As if this already wasn't a stressful situation, LVN heads into 2026 without a long-term contract extension beyond his 5th-year option for next season. Meanwhile, other first-round picks from his draft are landing massive paydays, including the likes of Darnell Wright, Jalen Carter, and Zay Flowers, all inking 9-figure deals just before the start of the preseason. If there was ever a time for Van Ness to have a breakout year, it's gotta be right now. So let's dive into the tape from last season when healthy to show you the kind of player that Van Ness can be for this Packers defense in today's episode of Best Available. Thank you for watching today's episode. Make sure that you are subscribed on YouTube if you're not already, and give us a follow on socials at BestAvailableYT. As always, a huge thank you to our members who continue to support the channel. I'll leave details onto becoming a member in the episode description. But for now, let's dive into the Van Ness tape, because I know the numbers are disappointing, and I know the pressure's on him, but I'm telling you, when he's healthy, this is a very productive player for your defense. I know I listed a bunch of numbers that don't sound great for LVN, but you got to consider the snap counts he's been playing on with his injuries, and also stopping the run matters a lot. And I just don't think we talk a lot about it with edges. It gets so wrapped up on sacks and pressures and all of that, but if you want to be a 3-down player, stopping the run matters too. And even if LVN only stays as like an early down edge rusher that's predominantly against the run and can occasionally rush, to me, that's a valuable player. There just aren't enough of these guys at the NFL level. This is the first play of the season for the Packers defense. We got LVN right here. They're just going to run a little toss to the left. And what I love about Van Ness here is he's head on right now against Sam Laporta. And, in this situation, as an edge, you always want to hold outside contain and keep your outside shoulder clean, because the second you cheat inside, especially with this fullback coming to, Carrington Valentine, I believe, who has a reputation for getting bullied against bigger blockers. But if he goes inside and we kick out the corner here, you can see just right away how big this rushing lane can be for a guy with the explosiveness that Jahmyr Gibbs has. So that's the last thing we want to do for LVN here. And he just does a great job of fighting over that block, getting control. And then once he has control, he's going to work back, keep his outside shoulder clean, try and get extended. Look at those arms. Holy crap. He's called Hercules for a reason. Keeps the outside shoulder clean, disengages with that little rip move under, and then just meets Jahmyr Gibbs. Rashawn Gary, nice backside pursuit. Didn't say that. Actually, holy crap. Look at this is a total aside. Look at Rashawn Gary on this side. I forgot this was a version of him earlier in the year. Like legit hustle down the line. We did not see that a lot by the tail end of last year. But regardless, sorry, got very distracted by that. This is just a nice job by LVN, keeping that outside shoulder clean, working off of the block as the ball carrier approaches, and making a nice tackle. First defensive snap of the year for the Packers is just a 1-yard gain. All right, we're facing third down here. We've got a wide alignment. We got a rusher over here off screen. We got, a few guys. We got Micah. We got Coop, I believe. And then, we got LVN here standing up in almost a mugged look. And he's actually going to bail into coverage on this play. What I do like about LVN, definitely athletic enough that if you want to surprise an offensive line and a quarterback, he can drop into coverage like this. Like the urgency which he gets into his drop. It's like, hey, I got to hit my landmark. Now, I would like him to turn his eyes as he drops, but that's a technical thing for linebackers. I'm not expecting LVN to be thinking about that. But, I like the urgency to get depth. Then he's looking and reading the quarterback. So now he's getting wide. He's just staying in his space, reading any routes that are breaking down, which is what's going to happen. We're going to roll out. He's going to see Gibbs out of the backfield, takes a good pursuit angle, and just almost pulls like a wrestling move. It's like an RKO. I'm not a wrestling guy. It feels a little like an RKO for a third down tackle for loss. But I just like this. We initially have this 2-man corral here, Coop out here, Van Ness out here, but he reads that spin move so well, he starts taking the right pursuit angle right away. Just a really nice job there. Then, yeah, just the strength to just wrestle him down. LVN would be a WWE guy, I'm convinced, if he didn't play football, because it's just a ridiculous athletic profile, I guess you could say. This was an awfully nice start to the year. Week 1, good first impression from LVN. Like, obviously, yes, having Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons on the field as well helps a lot. But I did see a lot from this game that I liked, including this bull rush rep against a guard. And when you can put LVN on the interior, which will definitely be happening, I imagine, once Parsons is healthy, he really can just wreak havoc inside. And this is a great job getting his helmet under this guy's helmet. Forward lean, leg drive, hands inside, then just watch him go to work. Just that guard is trying to anchor down against LVN, and it's just not working. LVN just pulverizes this dude. It's the length, the strength. It's not just the upper body strength. It's that forward lean and leg drive with low pad level. That's where he's winning the leverage battle, even with Mahogany trying to anchor down. And it's just not going to work because Van Ness is like carrying the guard right into Jared Goff's pocket. Rashawn Gary helps clean this up as well. But that is just a tremendous effort on a bull rush from LVN. That as far as the pass rushing stuff, I want to see more of this, especially on interior linemen. I think he can just be really, really valuable there as a pass rusher. I enjoyed this one. A little bit more of a different pass rush repertoire from LVN here lined up against Cleveland's left tackle. Going to do a nice job of just swiping the hands and then tightening his path. Gets disengaged, tightens that path to the quarterback. Ends up being, as Flacco's going down. Really funny they played Flacco on 2 different teams last year. That was just very funny going through all the film. But just a nice job with that hand fighting, especially to disengage and then tighten that path. So the way we're on, like, kind of a little jump set to try and tighten the angle against LVN by this left tackle. And then you can just see right there that swipe by LVN. Let's avoid that strike at all costs being clean. So he's going to attack those hands. And then you can see that elbow from the tackle cave in. As soon as that elbow gets caved in and that hand doesn't strike cleanly on the left tackle right there, suddenly he's trying to re-grip and reestablish. And we're still hand fighting as LVN. And now suddenly way too overextended from this tackle, trying to get engaged, but not bringing his feet with it. Bad situation. LVN gets completely clean. And then I just love the tight path to the quarterback here. For as big and bulky of an edge as LVN is, he's got some bend to him. He is a more fluid athlete than I think he gets credit for because he's so bulky and linear at times. But this is a good example of that. Great hand fighting and then nice job tightening that path to get a QB hit for a very errant throw by Flacco. Speaking of, there's Flacco again now with Cincinnati. They're gonna try and run a split zone. So they originally motioned this tight end out. Now they're motioning him back in. Once he motions back in, he's going to come across the formation. So this tackle is going to leave LVN alone, and we're going to try and kick him out with this tight end. LVN's just too strong, and he does a really good job on film consistently taking on blockers coming across the formation like this. So he does a good job. Hey, I'm unblocked. Instead of flying upfield, let me tighten my path straight down the line of scrimmage, knowing that a block across the formation is likely coming. He's trying to stay as square as possible, knowing that block's coming, but you can see how low he's getting, and then just engaging with that block. And you can see the tight end go flying a little bit. And then what I love is finishing this play. Not only is he punishing that blocker, then he's bringing hips through contact a second time with the ball carrier right there. And then him and Evan Williams are trying to drive him down. I love the intensity and intention behind both points of contact. Taking on the block with violence here, then taking on the ball carrier with violence there. He just plays with such a physical play style. That's why I keep saying, man, if he's only an early down edge, he's so effective against the run and can line up in a variety of ways. He can just be a real asset in situations like this that I really enjoy. I think this is a hell of a play from LVN. Even if it's not, the sexiest, I think this stuff's so damn important, and it's a great play by him. Pretty big play for the Packers right here. They are down by the goal line. We got a big play coming up for the Bengals. And LVN gets to show off his burst and explosiveness when he can time up the snap correctly. Because holy cow, watch this one. As we get ready for that snap, as soon as that ball snapped, look at him just get off that ball, tighten the path, get to the quarterback. That's just an outstanding job, man. Let's see. I mean, he's already triggered and going before that ball's even fully moved. Like, look at it. He's fully out of his stance, launched out. And the tackle's trying to get out there quick, but he's just not going to be able to. That is awfully impressive. Get it clicked. I mean, yeah, he's just going so quickly there. the tackle's never going to have a chance to get to him. That's so impressive how I want to see more of this when he's truly on the edge on third down. Like, yeah, you're at risk of, encroachments or offsides by loading up so much like this, but man, when it works, it works. And this is just a tremendous speed, explosive rep from LVN that I want to see more of. We know his explosive numbers and his athleticism at the combine a few years ago was so impressive. It's why the Packers took him in the first half of the first round. I want to see that more translate to stuff like this because this is just outstanding work. We're fast forwarding a bit, and you're wondering, like, wow, we went a real jump from Bengals game to Broncos game. It's because LVN dealt with a foot injury. They put him on IR, and then played a game, and then it re-aggravated. He ended up missing outside of a few snaps against Minnesota 2 months with this foot injury. So it was a big jump forward in time that suddenly he's back on the field against the Denver Broncos. Especially the Ravens game that we're going to get to in a bit. I thought when he came back, he was obviously still not healthy. Thought he still played really damn well. And that is encouraging for 2026 because I feel like I did see a version of him where I was like, okay, this guy is going to be a dude for this defense. And this is a great example of it against the run. So as we roll this, going to engage with that guard, stay low, wide base, anchor down. They're thinking about a double team here, but he's just fighting like hell to avoid getting washed down. This guard wants to take him this way, and he's doing a great job. Wide base, kick out his feet, get fully extended as well. He is just controlling this point of attack the whole way. And then as that ball carrier gets close, he's going to get off the block. And then what I love here is finishing with his tackling technique. Grabbing at the hamstrings. The second you grab at a dude's hamstrings, I don't care how strong he is, that's where all the power goes in your legs, and you just can't do anything. So I just technically, from a technical standpoint, the anchoring down against the block, getting off of it, and then just grabbing at that hamstring to bring a ball carrier down. Really fundamentally sound play in the red zone. I really enjoyed this one. Not the flashiest play again, but run defense isn't usually sexy, but it's a great job by him not getting washed down against this left guard, holding his own, getting extended, getting off the block, making the tackle. This is outstanding work. This is what I want for my edges against the run. Here's that Ravens game, and I know the Packers defensive line got abused. They let Derrick Henry run all over them. Thought this was LVN's best game of the year. We'll see a few of the plays and explain why. I love the effort here against Polars. I don't know if this is illegal nowadays, but he just goes low on the offensive lineman, stays upright or keeps his head up and then wraps up Derrick Henry. I believe the rule now is that you can't, it's like an illegal chop block or what is it, a low block? I can't remember the official terminology for it, but especially in space, they don't let corners go low and dive at tackles' legs anymore. I'll be honest, I don't know if the rule counts inside the box, but I believe it probably does. This might technically be illegal by LVN, but I love the effort here. So, because not only is he getting low to take on that puller, but then he just does a great job of a heads-up play of getting to Derrick Henry. Oh, I do think it's illegal because you can see on the left side of the screen him. He's not very happy with the LVN going so low, but I get what he's trying to do. I don't think he's intentionally trying to go low. I just think he's trying to lower his pads to take on the puller, and I just think he probably gets a little too low here, but outstanding effort on this one. Big fan. I'll show it one more time. You got to have low pad level against blockers, and yeah, probably illegal, but the balance and coordination to, find Derrick Henry after that's just an awfully impressive effort. Here's some more of that outside contained discipline where he's going to keep his outside shoulder clean. And I don't blame him for being tempted on this one because they're just going to run a QB draw essentially with the quarterback. And the entire time you got to be thinking okay, inside run, lead blocker here. Maybe I do cheat this one inside and try and bring down the quarterback. But he just does a great job. Look how extended he is. Look how extended those arms are to keep the hands off of him. That's just tremendous job against a blocker, keeping that outside shoulder clean the whole time so that if this guy does bounce outside, which is exactly what happens, he can make the tackle. And so many edges, especially younger guys, will be so tempted on this play to just cheat inside, try and make a play on the quarterback. They see blood, they think sack, even if it's a quarterback design draw. But LVN stays disciplined here, and then as soon as the quarterback breaks out, he fights off that blocker and makes the play. That's just tremendous discipline that gets rewarded with the tackle because of it. Big fan. It's an unselfish play and then you get rewarded for it because he's just probably thinking, let me go get that quarterback. But understands what his assignment is, his role, and it leads to a defensive stop. I don't want it to be forgotten how freaking strong LVN is here. Just in general, he's just such a physical player. And boy, is he good at that in this, just taking on a block and then just inhaling Derrick Henry, of all people, and just bringing him down to the ground quickly. Just you can see him inhale is the right word because he gets both arms on Henry and just immediately brings him to the ground. But beyond just that, because that is fun, shows that strength, the ability to take on, I believe that's Roger Rosengarten. I think he's a hell of a right tackle, man. To take on him, try and work to get outside, and then by the time Henry breaks back off, work back off the block inside, and then just bring him down with your mass, strength, and gravity. Again, these are just the kind of plays that consistently make LVN such a reliable run defender. So damn powerful, both taking on blockers and inhaling ball carriers when he's able to get to them. It's such a nice luxury to have on your defensive front on early downs when you can have a guy like LVN just really dominate points of attack throughout the whistle. We just talked about how strong LVN is. Don't try and crack block him with smaller receivers. Like Rashad Bateman's no slouch, but damn, dude, watch it, just not even phased by that crack, not even phased a little bit by the crack attempt by the wide receiver. Just kind of just sheds him off. I don't think he gets displaced even a little bit. Like these blocks are designed, especially on, it's like a crack toss. It's designed to seal off. So if we block him here, sealed off here, then we've got pullers in space. He's not going to be able to pursue and get to that play in time because he's going to have to go around the crack block and pursue. But instead, LVN's just so dense. He works over it, pursues, makes a play. It's such a fun combination of watching LVN because he's so strong and gives such good effort that it leads to plays like this where it's like the way this was drawn up, he was never supposed to be near this play. It was supposed to be maybe a McKinney, Cooper over there. It was supposed to be someone else making this play, but instead it's just LVN through sheer force and will working over that crack block and pursuing the ball carrier. I love this play so much, man. I can imagine the coaches drawing this up and being like, yeah, we'll just crack block the edge and this will be wide open. We'll get some blockers in space. It'll be great. And when you have a edge this strong, it just really messes up your entire plan as a coaching staff. Sometimes you got to set up running backs when you're engaged with the blocker, and this is a good example of it from LVN here on the left side of the screen. They're just going to run, is it outside zone or a toss? It's more of an outside zone, it looks like. It's a reverse pivot by the quarterback, but it looks like the blocking scheme is outside zone on this. LVN's just going to ride this blocker and follow the flow of the blocks and be like, all right, we're just going to go this way. That's cool. But instead of just letting his momentum continue to carry him this way, he's keeping his eyes on the running back and seeing where he wants to cut back on. And LVN does a great job. So I'm following the flow so that instead of trying to fight over other problems, if he doesn't go with the flow initially and he goes this way, we might have a much bigger rushing lane to work with. So instead, he's following the flow of traffic until that ball carrier comes by. Then he's going to shed off and make a great tackle. And look at that stopping power as well. Once he engages to just wrestle him, and then suddenly he's not going anywhere. And yes, he has the help from some defensive teammates, but holy cow, he can just really stonewall ball carriers when he gets a clean shot on them like this. It's great discipline to follow the blockers until it's time to get off that block, and then makes an awfully nice play. Big fan of this by Van Ness. This is a really nice stop and just another display of his play strength with the ball carrier. Last one of the day, a forced fumble strip sack on Caleb, but really just to show off, sometimes the bend he has is way more than you'd expect for a guy. We keep talking about how strong he is. This angle right here, man, really tough spot to be in against a tackle, especially on like a stunt where he's, starting inside then working outside. It's a really long loop to the quarterback, but he just keeps staying low. That's an awfully impressive pad level bend, gets a helmet on the football, pops it out, and like Bears get really lucky here, but the effort is outstanding. And just a reminder, I know he's, all the film we're showing, especially talking about this big, bulking, athletic, strong guy, but it's worth remembering, man, the athlete that we have there as well. That's really impressive bend for a big, bulky edge to tighten that path on a stunt. I'm just a big fan of it, man. Like, it's a reminder that this guy can do a lot more as a pass rusher than we give him credit for sometimes. And when fully healthy, I do think more opportunities, he will get to the quarterback more frequently. I just hope that, as we've been talking about, that he can stay healthy after how his career started. I love watching edges. Any team, any school in college, they just come in all shapes and sizes. I mean, I think of Romello Height this year coming out of Texas Tech, who was just like a 220-pound pass rush specialist. That's on the other end of a spectrum of a guy like LVN, who really is this early down edge setter, really good against the run, but also has a few tricks up his sleeve as a pass rusher. And I hope he puts it all together this year. Like, clearly the Packers need him, especially for the first few weeks while Micah is still recovering. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for him. I feel like this year is the year. Jonathan Gannon has a history of, really helping these, defensive tackles and edges, burst onto the scene. I keep thinking of that Philly Super Bowl run when he was defensive coordinator, and players seem to love him. So I'm very excited to see that fit and how Gannon can help unlock Van Ness. I'm sure there's a lot of divisive thoughts on Lucas Van Ness, so let me know in the comments what you think about him. And if your opinion changed after watching this video, I'd be curious to hear that. So let me know in the comments. And if you made it all the way to the video, please subscribe. Really appreciate you guys watching. I think I'm going to do something on the Hall of Fame game. It's a little gross. We're probably not going to see a lot of meaningful football, but we finally have football back on, so I think I'm going to do a video tomorrow on some of what I saw, and we'll dive into that a little bit. Let me see what inspires me tonight. But I hope you enjoy the Hall of Fame game. We'll see you tomorrow or Friday. What is that? August 7th, depending on when you're watching this. And thank you again for supporting the channel. We'll see you next time.